For a lot of people, Adventureland and the Enchanted Tiki Room were their first introduction to tiki. If you're new here, I'm Spike, and every week we dive into the vibrant world of tiki. From visiting legendary tiki bars and recreating vintage cocktail recipes, to interviewing iconic figures like Disney legend Bob Gurr, even hitting the road with my band, the Hula Girls. It's all about celebrating tiki culture, and this is one of the places where a lot of people first discovered the world of tiki. Let's explore Adventureland. Excuse the shirt that I'm wearing. We're gonna be meeting up with a buddy of mine who also spent time as a Disney artist to do a deep dive on Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room and Adventureland. Okay, but let's change the shirt first. He was also gonna tell us all about a missing tiki, and just like that, out of the crowd and the sea of people, he emerged.
McBiff? Hey, what are you doing here?
McBiff had brought me a prototype of a shirt he designed specifically inspired by vintage Disneyland. And for one day, I would have the only shirt in the history of Disneyland and the history of the world. He calls the design the Parksman, and now I am the Parksman. So what were you just saying about there was another tiki god here?
Yeah.
It was stolen?
It was stolen backstage, but it was right up here in the entrance, the Uti god.
Yeah.
One of Rolly Crump's original carvings. It was like the god of like fishermen or fishing, you know? So he's holding this fish. They still have one at the Polynesian resort.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, there's one out there, so it's the same one. But it was inside of a rad, like, canoe.
And so where did it go?
It was like right up front when this kind of extended out a little further.
Yeah.
And along with the Barker bird. But you know, everything was deteriorating by like the 80s or 90s.
They said the Barker bird was causing too much commotion on Main Street.
Well, like no, right here, like it would be a big bottleneck. Everybody's standing there like looking up at it.
I thought it was like a noise thing.
No, it was just so impressive, you know, because nobody's seen anything like that.
What year is that, you think? 60s?
Oh yeah. I don't know when they removed it. I don't remember it as a kid, but I remember the Uti god because I had a fire, you know, holding like a torch.
Oh, right.
But I know it left around the early 90s.
But you kind of have like a personal connection with this place.
Totally, yeah. Well, you know, other than growing up here and loving everything, you know, and then becoming a Disney artist.
Yeah.
But I started to meet other Disney artists. Like I got invited to Rolly Crump's house. And he told me all about the tikis here he carved. Like all these lines were from a plastic fork, he said, that he found in a freaking cafeteria around here.
So I guess the thing was that he had like all the concept drawings, right? And then somebody was like, well, now sculpt it. But he was like, but I'm not a sculptor.
No, he was told to do it, even though he didn't know how to do it.
Right.
They're like, figure it out.
He did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it was the first time he sculpted anything. So it was like between his drawings and Mark Davis, he did all the birds and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's two of the main artists.
What year was this place open?
63, I believe. I think that was originally a coffee bar.
Oh, the juice bar over there?
Yeah, before Dole became the main sponsor, because it was going to be a restaurant, you know, as we know. That's why it's the only attraction with a bathroom.
So if it was going to be a restaurant with animatronics,
yeah,
like they couldn't figure out how to get people out quick enough?
Well, I think it was because they just made up audio animatronics. And I guess it was so impressive, Walt was like, no, we got to turn this into an attraction instead. They could get people in and out quicker.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it was a separate cost. Like, you know how they had like A, B, C, and D e-tickets? It was like above the e-ticket. You had to pay 75 cents to get in.
Really?
Yeah.
And back then, that's like...
Well, and like the top ticket was like 60 cents. So this one was... Because everything was sponsored back then, like kind of not completely owned by Disney.
Didn't I hear something about them originally conceptualizing it with real birds? Like the very, very beginning?
In the beginning, yeah. Walt was like, everybody's gonna, you know, take a crap on everyone's food. All the birds. That's just a funny story, you know?
Yeah. And then, of course, I think Oceanic Arts had a big hand in it, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the tiki gods you see out front, the ones that are distinctly their style, like on the fences, that's all theirs.
Right.
But everything in here is like Rolly Crump did all this, and the ones inside, you know, he built a big altar in the middle, or whatever you want to call it, the base of the water feature. and that crazy thing that comes down. That is so like weird Rolly Crump.
So
Have you seen
weird.
it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, everybody's seen it. But I mean, it's like his total beatnik look. He got away with it.
It's like beatnik acid trip kind of weirdo.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he hid like heroin stuff in it, you know? Because he made all those heroin posters and drug posters and things like that. His son Chris Crump just did a gallery show of all his dad's beatnik posters all in one spot in Hollywood about a month or two ago.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the shirt.
Oh. Well, this is a shirt. I've been wanting to make a shirt like this for years, kind of doing it on the DL here.
The DL?
The down
the
low.
Disneyland?
Yeah, the Disneyland. Like, I really want to make a shirt that looked like it got lost out of the late 50s, early 60s, you know, really minimalist. So I just finally made it myself. I found like really old-fashioned rayon fabric that has a little bit of a texture to it, so it's real light. Had him put the loop collar on there just to make it legit.
Very nice.
So yeah, it's got that Pendleton board shirt like style cut, you know, so it's real vintage.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it. Hey, you got the first one. That's a concept.
So they're for sale now?
They're for sale right now.
Amazing.
It's crazy. Yeah. So I can't wait to wear one. Like, I'm jealous that you get to wear it. And after this one, man, I'm going to start making all the lands too. Like real minimalist, Frontierland, Tomorrowland, you know, all that. Make them cool.
I am Pele, goddess of fire and volcanoes. Some say I torment born again the earth balancer. Oh, when my violent temper rises, the earth trembles on its foundation.
Right.
That's the original carving.
Well, it's from the original mold. I think the original ones deteriorated, you know, so they took molds of them.
I'm the one who's really sad. When I smile, it comes out mad.
It's so weird.
It looks like your backyard.
It does. It's getting like that.
Dude, we need to make some cool stuff out there, man. Make a story, the Breezeway.
Oh, that'd be rad.
Dude, I'll break out my
Plastic fork?
Dude, and carve some tikis.
Were they foam blocks?
I asked Rolly, I'm like, well, what'd you carve it out of? It wasn't wood. And I think he said, yeah, it was like foam originally. Then they took fiberglass molds, did a big mold, and then they took molds from that. When I became an artist with Disney and I got contracted, I was going out to Walt Disney World a lot, and I met up with another artist I appreciate, Joseph Yakonovic. And he's good friends with Rolly Crump. And then we were hanging out there during the Festival of the Arts. He knows how big of an influence Rolly was to me at the time. He contacted Rolly, and he already heard about me because I was doing a lot of stuff for Disney and Ernie Ball guitar strings, which he did art for both.
Oh, that's right. He did the logo for Ernie Ball.
Yeah. So I started doing stuff for Ernie Ball, kind of using my style, but just trying to do what he did a little bit, influence. So he invited me to his house, man, and we hung out all afternoon, and we had Jack Daniel's shots with apple pie,
Why'd you do that?
Because that was his thing. He took it to wed, back in the day. He would bring over a bottle of Jack and an apple pie. Be like, all right, guys, we're doing Apple Jacks, I was like, oh, I got to do that with him once. As soon as I walked in the door, he saw both. He's like, Apple Jacks!
Oh, my God.
And he's like, Marie, his wife, go get it together. We're all doing it.
Oh, my God.
It was awesome, man. He was like 90.
Amazing.
What a cool dude. I did hear about one time when well before, it was around the time they were starting to plan Disneyland here, I guess Lily and Disney, somewhere in New Orleans, walked into one of those rad shops out there, and there was kind of a janky not an audio, but like an animatronic bird that kind of sort of jankily moved. She called up Walt, come check this out, man. This is cool. This is what you were talking about. He bought that thing, man. He got it from them and told his Imagineers to figure this out. this is going to be a huge thing. So I think that's kind of where that started, somewhere in New Orleans, you know.
So that was the inspiration to it.
Yeah, for all the birds, all the audio animatronic stuff. Yeah. Oh, the Tropical Hideaway, that's what it's called.
What's that?
That's the little eatery kind of hangout place next door that was there a long time ago, hasn't? The original menus are super cool looking. Then they took it out forever, but they just brought it back a few years ago, so it's open again.
The Tropical Hideaway is a lush open-air retreat where you can sit by the water and watch the Jungle Cruise boats go by. Located next to the Enchanted Tiki Room, it opened in December 2018. It offers tropical-themed snacks like Dole Whip in multiple flavors and bao buns, all in a vibrant, exotic setting, with a lot of the decor, especially these lamps, supplied by Oceanic Arts. This spot replaced Aladdin's Oasis, a Middle Eastern-inspired dining and show area themed around Disney's Aladdin, which itself had sadly replaced the Tahitian Terrace. Now, the Tahitian Terrace was a Polynesian-themed restaurant that operated from 1962 to 1993. It featured live music, dance performances, and tropical cuisine. It was like a luau at Disneyland. The Tropical Hideaway pays homage to Adventureland's history, blending the relaxing atmosphere of Tahitian Terrace with modern dining. It's also the official retirement home for Rosita, the Enchanted Tiki Room bird who flew the coop to pursue her comedy career. But I especially love this video clip of Walt signing autographs at the Tahitian Terrace. You can see one of the Jungle Cruise boats cruising by behind him. It's just a wonder that Disney ever thought it was a good idea to wall that off with a giant lion's mouth. But I guess changing times, you know? We are going to go into the Enchanted Tiki Room in a second, but since we're so close to the Jungle Cruise, I first wanted to play a little clip of a conversation that I had about the Jungle Cruise with Disney Imagineering legend Bob Gurr.
It's got animals. They're not alive, but they're animals that you could believe that they're there. You know, I've been on the safari, and I've been that close to hippos in the water.
Have you really?
Yes, yeah. I went on a safari some years ago. But the fact that the believability, you leave the dock in that boat, what are we going to see today? And some of it, it's fake, but it's good looking fake, and it's fun fake.
Well, I think that's all about tiki too. It's escapism, and you want to walk into a bar and then be transported into a different world.
Yes, because when somebody says tiki, you already have enough preconceived exposure to ideas.
Sure.
You know what that means. You say the word pirate. Oh, I know what that means.
Right.
You say a Western movie. I know what that is. So in other, you don't have to explain the story. A lot of modern current stories like to do with space and things like that. The story has to be made up to understand it.
Sure.
You can't say space and somebody goes, oh, I know what that is. Space. Well, which space?
Right.
But you never say which pirate or which tiki.
Right.
Tiki is tiki.
Right. Pirates are pirates.
Yeah.
I also asked McBiff what his favorite ride was in Adventureland.
In Adventureland, I'd say the Jungle Cruise for sure, yeah. Even though the only ride that's better at Walt Disney World than here is the Jungle Cruise, I think. Just by a little bit. They're like, it's bigger, and they got like a cave you go through, but that's it.
Never thought I'd be going to the Enchanted Tiki Room with McBiff. Weird. Lucky you.
And with that, I narrowly avoided trampling a toddler, and McBiff and I entered the 1963-built Enchanted Tiki Room.
I think there was risk for a while that this thing was going to be torn down, like years ago.
Yeah, but they restored it.
Yeah.
They made the birds more digital and stuff. So they don't clack as loud.
Clackers. And so we found our seats on the same low-backed benches that have been around since the 1960s.
Here we are in the Enchanted Tiki Room since 1963. Oh, what a feast for the eyes, right? All the thatch. All the pineapples in the middle. Dude, I love this place. The Disney Breezeway.
And so there I was, sitting on a bench with McBiff at a children's animatronic bird show. Just a couple grown men doing grown men stuff. But, this is our work. This is research for him. This is a video for you from me. And I mean, it's so timeless. It really is.
I always loved those dudes right up there. There's like the drummer guy, and then there's like these two like dog creatures. All right, the show's about to begin. Aloha!
Alright, I'll take it. Well, we also love this Enchanted Tiki Room brought to you by our good friends at Dole. Because of that, you are allowed to eat and drink in here, especially the lovely Dole whips, Dole floats, Dole whatevers. We just ask that you take the tiki trash with you at the end of the tiki show and put them
Tiki trash?
wherever you may
Your
find
tiki
them.
trash.
Jose does not listen to me anymore. So if you can help me out on the count of 3, say wake up Jose. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, buenos dias, senorita. My siestas are getting shorter and shorter. Oh, look at all the people. And welcome to Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. Ole, ole, it's showtime.
Sorry I can't play any of the Tiki Room music for fear of demonetization, so here's some generic Calypso music for you. When it was built in 1963, it cost about $1 million to put this thing together, which was a ton of money back then. They can put on this performance about 50 times a day for a maximum capacity of about 240 guests per show. The show actually utilizes over 4,000 individual lights and sound effects to create the magical tropical ambiance. And as of 2024, the Tiki Room has been delighting guests for over 61 years. But everybody enjoyed the show in the tropical hideaway. All 54 of the birds sang words and the flowers crooned. The girls came down from the ceiling. Very beautiful. Of course, my favorite part is the thunderstorm, where the 12 Tiki gods are playing drums and chanting. The 24 singing masks are clacking along, and after the 12-minute runtime of the show, the place just erupted in applause, just like it's done every show since 1963.
Dude, I love it. And there you go, one of the most enduring attractions at Disneyland since 1963, the Enchanted Tiki Room. And I'm just so happy that it's still here.
Since we just got out of there and I remembered a few things. Man, I can't remember the name of the lady though that originally put all the feathers, she's dressing all the birds.
That was in fact Miss Harriet Burns, who was Disneyland's first female Imagineer. Known for her meticulous craftsmanship and artistic vision, Miss Harriet was responsible for hand painting and feathering the tiki birds.
But I remember that they put feathers on the chest because, it mechanically moves their chest like it's breathing when they sing. But it looked way too mechanical, looked way too fake. And she saw Walt Disney in a meeting wearing a cashmere sweater, and it kind of just moved with him, when he was breathing. She's like, that's what we need to put on the birds. So she put cashmere on all of them. That's why their chests are all smooth, and their feathers. And everybody, the 4 main host birds, like their colors represent their countries. That's kind of cool too. Yeah, like the country flags. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's kind of cool. So.
Well, that was a delight.
I love this place.
I know.
After the Tiki Room, we figured that we would go for a little bit of a cruise through the jungle.
So here we are at the Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Cruise is another one of those rides that is just so synonymous with Adventureland, and it isn't necessarily like a tiki thing, but jungle is also kind of tiki, right?
Of course it is. Yeah. Too bad they got rid of all the tiki stuff.
Oh, that's right.
They brought Florida's Trader Sam out to Shanghai, I think, because they don't care.
Originally, the Jungle Cruise had a more serious tone, inspired by Disney's True Life Adventures nature documentaries. However, by the 1960s, as audiences embraced a more lighthearted attitude, the ride's script evolved into the pun-filled comedic dialogue that we know today.
It's just the theming of this ride is done so well. It's like all of the little walkthrough areas where they have like all these different things for you to see, look at, like this thing right here. Makes you think there was like a dude working in there, doing some biology work or something.
But the queue is really setting the stage for your trip on the river. Even some of these things like some nautical pulleys, just the way the building is constructed and the lights they chose to use to light up the place. This whole rack full of crates, McBiff and I were both kind of like, well, these should probably be weathered. And also they had modern screw heads on them. So, if we're going to nitpick, believe me, I can nitpick. But I love the vintage lanterns. I love the weathered wood. I love these big bolts that hold everything together and that pulley. And as we get out onto the dock, this nautical lantern, this little handmade sign, hand-painted signs to like make all the difference in the world. And then things like this little hut out here. I remember as a child thinking like, dude, who lives out there? And it just gives you like kind of an idea that this is a bigger world than you're actually exposed to.
All the carved corbels, all that stuff.
As we look across Adventureland, we can see where Eli Hedley's Island Trade Store once stood. Note that there's no Enchanted Tiki Room on this map. This Disneyland map is super early and was only recently found by Eli Hedley's grandson, Bamboo Ben, at the Smithsonian. Aside from newspaper articles, this may be the only evidence of Eli Hedley's Island Trade Store. I guess I should probably tell you who Eli Hedley is and why we're even talking about him. He's the tiki carver responsible for the huge moai in front of the Aku Aku and the Stardust in Las Vegas, as well as the iconic tiki in front of Trader Mort's liquor store in San Diego. But he also supplied tiki carvings and driftwood designs for the very beginning of Disneyland. When it came time to pay him, Walt said, well, why don't I just give you a space in my park? And then Eli was like, done deal. So judging by the map, you would enter Adventureland and then take a right, and it should be right there, but we have no photographic evidence of it. There you go. Some little known Adventureland and tiki history. All of those photos were from the collection of davelandweb.com. Oh, by the way, somehow we got on a boat.
Tigers. Ooh, there's the elephants.
Please don't tell my mom. She thinks I'm a lawyer. She's real proud.
Oh, buddy.
That right there is a greedy little gorilla, and it's about 4,000 miles. That's why I call it the world's longest river. In the entire jungle, the African bullhorn elephant.
Look at that elephant.
On the right, we have the first
This must have been wild back in the 1950s for some reason.
This elephant right here could run up to speeds of 60 miles an hour, making it the world's fastest land animal. Wow. Isn't that amazing? We're slowly creeping our way.
Oh.
You see those towns up there? Who knows what those are called?
There's a zebra that's sleeping.
Those are trees. You know, these zebras are just so old. They're still in black and white. Ladies and gentlemen, the backside of water.
Oh, a duck. Disney duck. Hello, friend.
Wow. Python. I'm a part of West Park, the end of our journey together. Trader Sam's gift shop.
Trader Sam's gift shop. So this is where they got the name for Trader Sam's Tiki Bar. You can see Kelly Merrill there, cranking the record player. Where's Trader Sam, though?
Yeah, Roy's in there.
Hello, friend. Oh, all over the camera.
If you did not enjoy your trip, I don't care.
Before we journey to the next stop, McBiff wanted to show me something bizarre in the bazaar.
Oh. What's the deal with this thing? Shrunken head. What's the deal with this thing?
Well, it's a Shrunken Head Ned. He gives you like a fortune and stuff. Dude, he's famous. I love Shrunken Head.
I've never seen this before.
Not everybody knows about it.
Hello and welcome to
Put
Shrunken
your hand
Head.
right here.
Perhaps you're wondering why I summoned you here. Well, you, my friend, have been selected for the greatest honor in all the jungle. You are going to be the star attraction at the annual Jungle Banquet and human sacrifice. Ah, my word, what an honor! You'll be notified.
I don't think that's an honor. How long do you have to put your hand there for?
I guess that long.
Oh, that's it. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Verdict?
I'm a jungle witch doctor. Looks like it's got a cocktail recipe on it. Thanks, Walt.
Ooh.
We should make that later on.
We should totally.
Jungle Witch Doctor. That's a rad cocktail name anyway.
Now, while I do love the Indiana Jones ride, we decided that we were just going to focus on the vintage era Disneyland stuff. So, our last stop in Adventureland was to see the recent remodel of the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse. I remember as a kid being in love with the Adventure of the Swiss Family Robinson movie. And then seeing their treehouse in real life at Disneyland was just mind-blowing. The attraction opened in 1962. It's like 70 feet high, man. It's really tall. 68 steps to climb to the top of the tree. Now in 1999, Disney decided they wanted to turn it into Tarzan's treehouse, which was, I hated that version. A lot of like cartoon elements, like it was just so cheap, man. If you look at the early years of Adventureland and of Disney in general, everything was so authentic. Disney and Disneyland are at their best when they do authenticity. So more recently in 2023, now they call this treehouse the Adventureland Treehouse. I don't know why they still can't call it the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse again, but it's like they reverted back to that initial concept anyway. So I don't know why they're so scared of the Swiss Family Robinson, but whatever. This one's mostly designed to celebrate Disney's spirit of exploration. Okay. Whatever you want to call it, let's just be thankful that it's still here. And it's 70 feet tall. It gets you some of the best views in the park. I mean, you got to look through these leaves, but...
We were just walking along and I go to McBiff. I'm like, wait, dude, those leaves are fake. And he goes, yeah, the whole tree is. And I was like, oh, the whole tree is. Like, of course it is.
I mean, it would keep growing into the crack probably.
I guess I just kind of always thought that it was just a real tree. And I don't know why I don't know why I should think that, but it just never crossed my mind that it might be, I don't know, constructed from steel and concrete. But it was designed to look like a giant banyan tree. The trunk has an approximate diameter of 15 feet, but that is not the statistic that's going to blow your mind. There are over 300,000 artificial leaves that were hand attached to the tree branches. Can you even believe that? That's why it looks so realistic. I mean, I'm telling you, it never occurred to me that it was fake. Okay, at the base of the tree, there was one last thing that McBiff wanted to show me. And this specifically harkens back to the Swiss Family Robinson movie. So like, stop fighting it, Disney.
And I was just looking right here. There. Look at that guy. Oh, girl. That's Jane. Look at how she cruises around back there. Amazing.
So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed our look into vintage Adventureland. Subscribe to the show if you aren't already. There's a link to our merch store in the description below. Check out our merch store. We got all kinds of stuff like t-shirts, tiki mugs, bar mats. There's also a link to go buy McBiff's brand new vintage Disneyland shirt. And YouTube thinks you'll like this next video. So click on this one. Aloha.